The UNCP men's cross-country team was selected as an at-large bid to the NCAA championships for the first time since 1981. The Braves had to play the waiting game on whether or not they'd make it after not gaining an automatic qualification.
I was probably a little less confident than most of the guys. They spent, because I was driving, they spent 5 hours just crunching the numbers, going through all the region results, and going through all the scenarios that could happen. I thought it was going to be Sunday night. It ended up being last night. And then it was a little more pessimism on my part, but then once it happened, it was just the flood of emotions that we knew it would happen if it could happen. But historically, a fourth-place team out of the Southeast region does not get any love. So it was really cool to have that at-large happen to us and mainly the guys.
Matthew Martin waited intently, hoping the Braves could make history in his senior season.
I was definitely a little bit nervous because I wanted to be top 25 in the race, and I ended up being 35, obviously, which is okay, but it's a little bit below the standard I had for myself. So when we first finished the race, we were all kind of holding our breath, because Augusta also raced a really, really good race, and they edged us out by 4 points. And I thought, like Coach said, to come out of the Southeast region at an at-large is a tall order for us, but I think based off the season we had, we did some really good things, especially at our mid-year meets and obviously conference with the championship win. But it was just I thought we had done some cool things, and I was going to chalk it up as that. But last night proved to be one of the better nights I've ever had. So we were pretty pumped.
The Martins were eating dinner when they got a call from their teammate Ian Ormsby, who they didn't believe initially.
We had gotten a call from Ian, and we thought he was joking at first because, like Matthew said, getting an at-large bid is historically just something that hasn't happened to any Southeast teams recently. So we thought he was joking at first, and as far as the feeling goes, making it to nationals, I don't think our feet have touched the ground yet. Like we were just so overjoyed. This was the whole goal. This is why Matthew and I decided to come back for this 5th year at Pembroke, was to make it to nationals. And sure enough, the team achieved the goal, and our season extended 2 more weeks. So that was the goal, and we achieved it. And we're just, like I said, our feet haven't touched the ground yet.
The race is still a week away, Saturday, December 1st in Pittsburgh. The Braves will stay together in the time being to train during Thanksgiving break.
We're going to be sure to train together as a team over Thanksgiving break and make sure we get in what we need to get in. Take it mostly easy miles till then, but as long as we can keep the team together through the next week, and then as we travel, of course, that's what it's really going to be.
Silas Kipkowicz, Josh Shepkesier, Logan Ward, and on the women's side, Skylar Moreno all picked up all-region laurels this week as well. But for the men's team, Nationals next weekend will be one of the biggest races in school history. However, being its first appearance for Pembroke since '81, the Braves feel no pressure.
Maybe leading up to the race, there might be some nerves, but like everyone knows now, we haven't been back to nationals in years, so I don't think there's a huge expectation on us. But really, once you toe the line and the gun goes off, there's really no pressure. You just gotta trust the training, because we've had really good training this year, and we gotta just trust the process, and we'll be golden once the gun goes off. There's no pressure. Just gotta get position, and we should be good.
UNCP swimming and diving had a banner weekend when they competed at the Greensboro College-hosted midseason invitational on Saturday and Sunday morning inside the Triangle Aquatic Center in Cary. The team registered titles in 3 events, including individual crowns by both Victoria Brousseau and Megan Hunter, to put the wraps on championship honors for the entire squad. The final results showed the first meet championship for the Braves in the 3-year history of the program in Pembroke. The black and gold was 229 points better than the rest of the 17 field at the event. And for head coach Oscar Roverato, the win represents a lot for the team.
It was a great opportunity for the girls, first of all, to see our improvement through the season. This was our mid-season big meet at the Cary Aquatic Center. And we faced 7 other colleges and university. We start well. First day, we're ahead. We confirm everything in the afternoon, and we finish strong in the second day on Sunday. We have 100% first place in our relay, which was great. And overall, all the girls did awesome. They really improved. So I'm very happy about that.
One thing that has helped the Braves improve is a revamped training regimen installed under Roverato.
It's very challenging because we changed the training system a little bit, so it's been tough for a lot of girls. They start to see the results now. We've been through some injuries like any team, I guess, this time of the season. Some of the girls are recovering now, so we're getting ready for the second part of the season, which will be ending in February with the championship in Orlando, Florida. And with a new coach, you always bring different kind of training systems. So I try to work a little bit more in aerobic level, raise their aerobic level, conditioning-wise. So it's been challenging, but they finally start to see the results now. A lot of kicking set that, which can hurt, but they help a lot.
Even with the win, Roverato is excited about the room for improvement he knows his team still has.
This girl got a huge opportunity to get much faster on the second part of the season. As you know, though, we have a large gap for the Christmas holiday, so we'll be out almost 4 weeks. So all the girls gonna be working out anyway and try to maintain conditioning and then finish strong the season. For sure we can improve. There are large margin of improvement for each one of the girls. We can expect improvement, that's for sure.
One thing that makes this team unique is the abundance of freshmen, which means there is a steep learning curve for the women competing in their first year of collegiate action.
Yes, well, of course, we have 7 freshmen, so it was a totally new experience for them compared to high school swimming. The approach of the competition is different. We have meets where you swim sometimes back-to-back events. Each point can't count a lot because the first meet of the season we lost only by 3 points. So that was a learning experience for these girls. And I can see now they approach the meet in a better way. They start to gain confidence, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be better towards the end of the season.
The Braves return to action on December 1st when they trek westward for the Mars Hill Tri-Meet at Chambers Gym on the campus of Mars Hill University.
UNCP wrestling is off this weekend, but they had a big one last weekend competing in the Wolfpack duels. Braves had 3 duels, first beating NAIA 16th-ranked Reinhardt, then falling to Division I Davidson, and 8th-ranked NC State in Raleigh.
We definitely accomplished what we set out to accomplish in that event. We went out there, fortunate for us, we had Reinhardt, a team that we felt very compatible to. Reinhardt is, I think they're ranked like 16th, 17th or 18th in NAIA. Those guys came out and fought us hard, and we were expecting it. And our guys did a great job of embracing it and stepping to the challenge, and really breaking them down in the end, just because of our cardio was better, and it showed in the lighter stage of each duel that we wrestled. Obviously, that won the duration. So we were super fortunate that the guys, followed the match plan and executed what we needed them to execute. Now Davidson, on the other hand, it was a little bit more tricky. Obviously, they just had a change in staff last year, and you can already see that program is taking steps in the right direction. So we were super fortunate to be able to again compete against a Division I opponent in Davidson. We're a little banged up right now at the middleweight, so we had to give up 174. So that was 6 points that we knew we had to make up somewhere else, and unfortunately we weren't able to make it up. We went into 165, I believe, up by 15 points, and they rattled off, obviously a forfeit and then 2 pins to kind of take the momentum back before Andrew Coburn, I guess when I said stop the bleeding, and then it came down to heavyweight to see who was going to win the duel, and they were able to outlast us there, and they were able to take that duel away. But great opportunity to go against an opponent that's fearless, and our guys took advantage of it. And obviously we ended the night with NC State, nothing against Davidson or Reinhardt, but that was the main reason we went there, was to kind of gauge ourselves where we are currently in the season to those guys. A national tournament trophy team, and it showed. And unfortunately for us, it was our last duel of the day, and so our guys just battled two very tough opponents, and it showed. But at the same time, all the other teams that were there had to do the same thing. So we have to be able to block out whatever happened previously and go into that duel with the mindset that, hey, I'm going to give this guy everything I have and see what happens. Obviously, don't worry too much about the result, but at the same time, don't get scared because of the name on their singlet. So I think the guys performed well. I think some of them had a rude awakening, and I think some of them hopefully are not going to come to reality that they're not working as hard as they think they're working, and they need to do a little bit more listening as opposed to trying to do it their way.
Johnson says the Braves athletes experiencing top 10 NC State's program up close was eye-opening and positive for UNCP's wrestlers moving forward.
The great thing about it, we were in NC State's room, and some of the guys' eyes kind of laid up because it wasn't much different in our room. It was actually smaller, and so to realize that they're going in the same type of room that we're in every day, and they're just putting the head down and getting to work and not trying to worry too much about who's a starter, who's not a starter, who did this, who did that last year, and you could tell all up and down their lineup with their young guys, being just as competitive as the older guys, and they showed. And I think the biggest take-home message that we gave our guys were, for us to get to where we want to be, we got to stop looking at, who's ranked, who did what, and just go out there and compete. I think those 2 days were, I guess I don't want to call it practice, but it was great practice for us because it gave us a direction, a bar. We're able to set a bar to where we want to be and where we currently are. And I think hopefully the guys, it's sunk in for the guys. But unfortunately, we only had 2 practices since that happened, and now they're going to go home and hopefully, do what they got to do. Hopefully we don't have to combat too much turkey when we get back, because we have to get right back to work after the break.
Looking ahead, the Braves wrestle Coker on the road Tuesday. Johnson hopes the Braves set a high standard for themselves, even in the meet they're favored in.
Don't wrestle to their level. I think last year we were able to, go out there and dominate pretty well. They did have a change in staff, so you never know how a team's going to react to a new staff. So you can't take anyone for granted. We got to go out there and put them down hard, and try to make sure that when the duel is over, there's no doubt who the better team is. And there's no doubt that we've already wrestled a fairly tough schedule in the first part of November. So we're going to go out there and then obviously let people know that, one, we belong in that conference, and this is why, because we would have elevated the competition in that conference. But outside of that, just don't take anyone for granted. You could have those trap matches that you can go in thinking you're going to go dominate someone, and then you go in there, overlooking them, and they could come out there and make some things happen. The thing about our sport is, 1 or 2 pins in a match can change the whole swing of it, and it might change the outcome. So if you give up 12 points, you could look at your team, forcing some of your guys to have to wrestle, at least try to have hero wrestling, which you don't want to have. So just focus, wrestle the opponent, wrestle the person in front of you. Don't wrestle the singlet thinking that they're a Coker, so they're not going to be as prepared as you think they should be.
UNCP wrestles at Coker Tuesday at 9 a.m. in Hartsville, South Carolina.
You can check it out, obviously, as always, on the internet. You can definitely come down there. It's only an hour and 15 minutes away, so come down there. We want to pack that gym and let them know, what the Braves are about.
UNCP Braves football snapped a lid on their season last Saturday when they traveled to take on Catawba. In a tense back-and-forth game, the Braves ultimately fell in overtime 30-23. The loss gives the Braves a 2-8 record for the second straight season. Head coach Shane Richardson was pleased, though, with the preparation and intensity of his group before and during the game.
I thought our week of preparation was outstanding, a lot of energy. I thought, everybody embraced what that week was all about. The seniors wanted to go out the right way. The guys that are going to be returning, they want to create some momentum going into the off season, and I think they did that, in terms of practicing the right way and bringing some enthusiasm and really trying to, go through that week with a great mindset. And when we got there on Saturday, I was really proud of the way that our team they battled and they fought, and they were really energized. And you're right, I mean, the sideline energy was fantastic, and guys were really competing all the way down to the wire, and so that was really good to see.
One big bright spot from the Catawba game was freshman quarterback Josh Jones. Jones piloted the offense and was 19 of 33 on the day for 230 yards and a season-best 3 touchdowns. This included leading the offense down the field for a game-dying touchdown in the fourth quarter with less than a minute to go. Richardson was pleased with Jones's performance overall and was very pleased to be able to give him even more reps before the offseason kicked in.
Josh had one of his better games, just kind of from a complete, all-around aspect, and as a quarterback. And I think, you're right. Being able to get that game under his belt prolongs the season, gives him one extra week of practicing all the things that we want to reiterate to him playing the quarterback position. And I tell you what, he showed a great ability to scramble at times during that game. He obviously threw touchdown passes, and that final drive, we practice a 2-minute situation every Wednesday night, and it finally came to fruition where he was able to get in that situation and really command the offense and take it down and be able to follow through with what we want to try to execute. And so it was really good to see that.
In the game, Fahim Diab and Sam Vines, who normally hold smaller part-time roles, got thrust a little more into the spotlight, with Diab hauling in a touchdown pass and Vines rushing for 30 yards. Naturally, Richardson was happy to see guys contribute up and down the roster.
Just in terms of the nature of how the personnel played out, I think it kind of happened that way, not necessarily because we were trying to get them extra touches per se, but I think it's just the way that it worked out with the personnel. And it's kind of a little bit of a next man up type of thought process. And definitely Fahim is a guy that he works and he stays after practice, and it was so neat to see him catch that touchdown pass, and I thought it really was a good thing for him. And talking about Sam Vines too, I mean, he was a guy that he was able to actually play fullback, and he was the backup tailback, coming down to the wire in that game. And so he was able to really transition both of those roles and do that well. And it was just good to see those guys step up and do that. Both of them being freshmen, Fahim being a true freshman and Sam being a redshirt freshman. Great to see those guys embrace those roles.
Now with the season done and another 2-8 campaign complete, Richardson and his coaching staff will take a step back and evaluate what happened this year, as well as the players on the roster.
Sure, I think there's definitely a lot to improve on, and we're a young team, and we're going to be able to grow and be able to look back on some of the experiences that we had. I think, sometimes it's not until you really get through it, you kind of have a chance to step back. You don't have to wake up on Monday morning and go lift and watch film from the previous game, and you can kind of digest it a little bit, and you can kind of say, wow, as I sit here and I'm not practicing this week and, going back into a regular mode, it starts to stir that fire a little bit. And, looking back, I think, our team can learn how to be more competitive on a regular basis and take advantage of just all the opportunities that we have, whether it's practice, whether it's games, just to have a competitive spirit on an all-the-time basis. I think that's one thing that really comes to mind. And something that came out of Saturday, but I think is very relative throughout the year, is we've got to be able to play our best this play, and that really is all the time, right? And so it came down to Saturday where you could say, well, if we would have made the extra point, we would have won. Well, if we would have made the catch at the very end, we would have won. If we wouldn't have given up the touchdown run at the end, we would have won the game. There's a lot of things you can kind of say, well, that play mattered. Well, that is the concept. Every play matters. It's not just one of them. It's not just one player. It's not just one side of the ball. I mean, it's got to be a full team effort all the time, executing, and every play does matter when it comes down to it. And, I think that's a really big takeaway for it also. There's a lot of great things to look forward to. I mean, just the youth getting more mature. we had a true freshman starting quarterback, a true freshman starting running back at the end, 3 true freshmen starting offensive linemen. You know, there's some unbelievable experience that took place there from true freshmen. And, you know, for those guys to be a year older and even, you know, down the road, it's very exciting for the future. I really like the direction that our offense is going, and that's really, really good for our future. You know, then defensively also, I mean, we've got other young players that'll be coming back there as well. I mean, I actually coached the linebackers. We graduated 1 senior there, and everybody else will be back. And there were, you know, really a sophomore, and a freshman that was in the starting lineup there. And so, you know, I think it really bodes well there on that side of the ball too. The DBs, you know, will be pretty much intact. We lost 2 guys there, and then, you know, defensive line, expect some younger guys to really step up and after their redshirt years be able to add to the depth there. So, you know, there's a lot of really, really good things, and, you know, I think also during this time comes evaluation by the coaches to kind of, you know, look at the program and say, what do we need to do different? What do we need to do better? What can we do to implement, you know, some better strategies? And that's definitely something that we're excited about doing as well.
After winning the season opener, UNCP women's basketball has now 1-3 on the year.
Well, I just think we need improvement in every area. We have rebounded pretty good. We struggled in the first half rebounding against Fayetteville State, and again, I think a lot of that was because we didn't have much size on the floor, and they were a pretty big team. We rebounded much better the second half. I think they out-rebounded us 3 by the game. So that's been a plus for us so far this year is rebounding. We need to continue to work on that and make sure we're out-rebounding opponents. I think taking care of the ball, and I think trying to find a way to score, you know, consistently making shots. Attacking more in transition, getting more transition baskets. We changed up our defense a little bit against Fayetteville State and forced some turnovers at times in the second half. I think we're going to have to continue to do that, maybe mix in some traps. So just do some things and get better in every aspect of the game.
Also, leading rebounder and senior forward Deja McCain suffered an injury against Lenore Ryan and will miss the rest of the season. The Braves plan on using a combination of players to try and replace her, including Sadeja Love, Aaliyah Farmer, and Danielle Heath.
Sadeja, if we can just keep her on the floor and keep her out of foul trouble, you know, she gives us a good physical presence. She's very athletic. You know, we played Danielle Heath some. She's a freshman. She's learning. But Danielle has got the potential to help us. And then, you know, Aaliyah's going to have to play undersized some down there. So when we get a little bit more practice time, we'll make even some more adjustments to what we do offensively and defensively a little bit to try to, you know, negate our lack of height down there.
UNCP's back in action tomorrow. The Braves are playing in an exhibition game at Division I UNC Greensboro at 2 p.m.
Well, those are always good. I know we went up there 2 years ago and lost in overtime, and it was a very, very competitive game. You know, they're better. They're very athletic. They've got a hard matchup on the perimeter and a tall wing that hurt us as a freshman. Basically won the game for them as a freshman, so that's a tough matchup. They're going to pressure us. They played Young Harris yesterday and beat Young Harris 62-29. So we've got to score against them, take care of the basketball. I think Young Harris had 30 turnovers, so it's going to be a challenge for us offensively, I think, to score and to take care of the basketball.